Maloni, hello everyone. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. So today we have a very special guest tonight to share their story. Um, and I really, really privileged to bring this person to my platform, to the platform, um, and hope to encourage and bring awareness to the audience, to everyone here, for some really cool inspiration. So let me introduce to you, pat, pat,
Um,
pat. We got here the lovely Lila. Hi, hi. Sorry, can you introduce yourself? I just kind of gave it away there briefly. Sorry, but if
yeah,
you can introduce yourself, where are you from, and yeah, just a bit of about your background, and also describe your current role, as well. Take it away.
Maloni, everyone. My name is Lila Setefano. I'm 22 years of age. My parents are Annie and the late Savalio Setefano. My dad is from Nukunono, Tokelau, and my mum is from the villages of Vailele and Letongo, Samoa. Um, I currently work as a property project coordinator for New Zealand Police. So we look at the property portfolio for New Zealand Police. So things like our police stations, our custody suites, our police residential homes, etc., etc. I support a team of managers who oversee the planning and partnerships of our properties. So we look at the current state versus future state. And then, yeah, I've done some really cool things. Like I do some really cool things like look at card data, which tells us crime rates across the country, and where the
Ooh,
demand is for
yeah.
stations to support district planning. So even though it's not a tech-based role at the moment, technology is becoming bigger and bigger for organizations and it overlaps. So yeah, it's part of our everyday lives. Yeah, that's me.
It's nice, but you did take a journey starting with tech, didn't you? So this is why we are here. So it's really interesting to see where you've landed. So tell me, in terms of your career path, what led you into the career of IT at the start, and how did you get into your current position?
Yeah. So I think it took me like a really big leap of faith. I didn't have any career aspirations when I was in school. I was like, I mean, I was studying music. I was really musical. I was really into performing
Oh,
arts. So I
yes,
was never didn't
this
take
girl can sing. Sorry, this girl can sing. I forget that. That's another superpower you have.
yeah. So like the just totally not into like
Yeah,
computer skills or anything like that.
yeah.
Um, but in my final year of school, we had Transpower, and they are the owner and operator of New Zealand's national grid. They came in and advertised an opening for two Maori and Pasifika women um, for an apprenticeship for 2 years in the cybersecurity space. And so,
Awesome.
so as people probably already know, the IT industry is so male dominated, especially cybersecurity. Um,
Mm.
and so, yeah, it was great to have that program be targeted at people like us. And so, yeah, I was successful, and I started my role with them in 2020. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and so from that 2 years, I spent the first 8 to 10 months as an associate security analyst,
Wow.
where I was learning the ropes of cybersecurity. I was studying towards CompTIA A plus, Network Plus, and Security Plus, which are accessible online learning for literally anyone. And it's a great like entry level
Hundred.
introduction to IT. And there's so many like online courses out there available now. And so yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And so cybersecurity is it's the practice of protecting systems, networks, and like programs from digital attacks. And so, in this case, like in the case of our team, we were responsible for looking after the organization data and systems, and just
Yeah.
making sure that it's kept safe. And so, yeah,
Wow.
it was just
Awesome.
oh my god, all of that. It was so new to me. It was a whole another
Mm.
language.
Wow.
But it was yeah, I just learned so much in that and just in that space.
Yeah.
Um, and
Nice.
then as the apprenticeship went on, they really wanted us to move around the IT space in the organization. And
Yeah.
so I was moved into the infrastructure team where I was kind of working like on another side of IT, which is like the hardware.
Yeah.
And so I was supporting the
Yeah.
service desk, which is another entry level type role into IT,
Yeah.
where I was assisting with like there's like ticketing systems, which I think a lot of organizations have, where
Yeah.
people kind of just like log a ticket when there's something wrong with the computer, and then you
Yeah.
go and figure out what's wrong and fix it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was assisting with that.
Wow.
I was managing IT stock. I was refreshing people, so taking their laptops, giving them a new one, and making sure that the laptop was set up. So I had our organizational system on there. Um, I was looking at server rooms. I had a lot of exposure into different things that at the time I had no idea about. But yeah, and then like right to like learning about how to install Windows like a laptop or a computer.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
so yeah, that was some really good. Um, yeah, so just from that 2 years, like it was just a widespread of exposure into the
Yeah.
IT industry,
Yeah.
and it set me up really well for my future roles. And so, which
Oh,
leads me to my next role.
yes.
And so, once I completed my 2 years, I went out into the big world. And I was actually really lucky because in the first 6 weeks of my employment with Transpower, I did a readiness to work program, and that was to help me transition from school into like the corporate world.
Yeah.
And they're like a tech
Wow.
and digital recruitment agency. And so I reconnected with them and I did some contracting for them. And so I picked up a contract with New Zealand Defence Force as an MRO uplift coordinator. And
Yeah.
so in this role, I was assisting with the implementation of MRTs, which is pretty much a system that New Zealand Defence Force would use to help maintain all of the platform equipment, so things like truck cargos, trailers, generators, etc. I
Mm.
worked heavily in a system called SAP, which is like a data entry system that we use to schedule plans.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of that role, I also was kind of like overlooking and assisting in an app that they were creating called Blueworks, which is a software that
Mm.
the mechanics are going to use on the ground on like an iPad. So like a technology way of like, you're in a garage and you're trying to fix a piece of work, and so
Right.
yeah, that was really interesting too. And I guess that piece of work itself just kind of shows that you like technology is going to become is huge and it's evolving, um,
Evolving. Yeah.
and it's just everywhere, and it's gonna be in places that you wouldn't really expect, like in a garage, like
Mm.
in a mechanical garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, and so because contracting it's not like a permanent like it's not a permanent job, so I decided
Oh.
that I just needed a bit more security, and yeah, I landed here at New Zealand Police, yeah, in the property sector, which is not where I thought I was going to be, but had I not had all of the experiences that I've had from the last two roles that
Yeah.
where I had a lot of IT exposure, I probably wouldn't have landed the role that I'm in now.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then yeah, and even though my role is in the property space, like the IT experience that I have is helpful, and yeah, and it's like that with all like I reckon a lot of organizations
Yeah.
say where technology is it just overlaps and it's a part of everything. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
What
got
a
into
dream. Oh my gosh. And the fact that you're only 22, and you were contracting, you know how many people they they build up years,
mm,
their career, to be able to contract, but because you were straight contracting out of high school, well, just fresh out of high school, and you're only 22, like that's amazing. And the stuff that you've been exposed to, that's what I mean. I'm so in awe of you, Lila. Honestly, that's some really cool experience. But what you've landed in now, you wouldn't have got there without the IT pathway,
mm,
like you said, and it does overlap to anywhere in the work in the corporate space. Um,
mm.
what I wanted to get into now is talk about the challenges, because I know it wouldn't have been easy. Um, so I want you to kind of want to know if what kind of professional challenges that you faced in your career, and how did you overcome them as well, and also the flip side of that, what was a personal challenge if you did face any, and how did you overcome that as well?
Yeah. So I think with my transfer apprenticeship, and like being fresh out of school, just from my first day in the office, like, and you meet your team, my team were just a full, like, it was a team of older aged Balangi men,
Mm.
who dressed really fancy, who spoke an IT language that I like couldn't understand, and were very outspoken and passionate about cybersecurity,
Yeah.
um, which already I just felt like there was we didn't have that understanding of, like, yeah, just it was like speaking another language. It was like sitting in an office with them speaking a whole nother language all day. um, about something that I don't know and I didn't understand yet. um,
Mm.
and so that was really challenging, and I think it's I was like quiet for a really long time, sitting at my desk, just quiet, just being, yes, yes or no.
Yeah.
um, and often they were like, often I'd get asked to do something and I wouldn't understand what it was, and I would just sit there like twiddling my fingers, like with this blurb of information or a question or a task that I just have no idea what to do. And so that was really challenging, but I think the challenge was more in that it was male dominated, and that I was like
Yeah.
the only girl, like the only woman
Yeah.
in the boardroom, and not only like the only woman, but the only like brown person that's like on my level, or the only Tokelau
Exactly.
person in the whole building.
You were only
And
18.
so,
You were
yeah,
only
and I was like 18 then.
18.
So in terms of overcoming it, I think I just like I had nowhere to run. It was my job. I needed to go there every single day and like work with these people. And they were great. They were a really good bunch of guys who really like nurtured and upskilled me.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think, yeah, like in terms of overcoming it, you just have to, I think, just take every opportunity there is to educate others, and actually speaking about who you are and where you're from. Um, yeah, because I just think that for a long time they didn't actually know where I was from,
Yeah.
and I know that a lot of people, like, a lot of people, I guess in our space maybe, but in general, like when you tell someone where you're from, they kind of like, "Well, where's that?" Like, they don't. Nobody knows where it is, and so yeah, it's just taking those opportunities to educate others, because I think
Yeah.
um, once you do it, yeah, it bridges that gap, and then there's that
And
understanding. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, taking people on that journey, kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, and getting to know you as well, because it's so foreign to them, mate. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
it makes it more comfortable for them to
yeah,
be like, oh no, she's not Māori, like things like,
yeah.
yeah. So that's good, and you use that superpower. That's your unique difference as well. Being the only brown person, woman, and being 18, that's
Mm.
crazy to me.
Yeah, and then I think, I think in terms of a personal challenge, yeah, so I lost my father in 2022, and at
Yeah.
the time, I think my career was doing really well. Like, I had done my apprenticeship. I was like in a new role,
Yeah.
and so I think also it was kind of pivoting as well at that time. Like, I felt like I liked the IT experience, but I wanted more, and I
Hmm.
felt like it could be in another like property. So
Yeah.
um, I just think, and I wanted to like touch on that because I know that for it's so relatable, like losing someone. And so I
Yeah.
think when I look back and I think about how I managed to land my current role with police, I think it was also the IT experience, but also because I was so determined for a push to kind of get focused again. And because I know us, like traditional Tokelau funerals, like they're quite lengthy compared to a Palangi one. And so, I just remember like when I was at work and I was like, everyone, had found out that I had a passing, and then telling
Mm.
them that I was going to be away for like a week or so. Like, that's to them, it's like, that's such a long time. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that was, yeah, that was definitely a challenge. But I think that it
Mm.
was such a big push, and I know that it was a big reason why I landed where I am now. Yeah.
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 Your father, who's my first cousin, by the way, he is, yeah, he's a very, very determined, driven
Mm,
man, and he kind of reminds me of my father as well. So they were good role models, I think. And yeah, you're right about just getting focused again, and that's probably
mm,
you just get into the work, and that's what
yeah.
I did too. After my dad died, like man, I went ahead, I changed my whole perspective, and that's what I don't know what it is. Maybe it's them talking to us, I don't know, but yeah, I am so proud that you. It's a hard time. These personal
Yeah.
challenges they're not easy.
Mm,
They're long, but you use it as a superpower and I think it is a spiritual thing,
yeah.
actually, to be honest. But yeah, he would be so proud of you, Lila, honestly. So that's amazing that you've overcome all these challenges. Um, so I know that you've made some achievements. Could you share a couple of, or one or two achievements or projects or accomplishments that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah. So I think I mentioned earlier that I had done in my first six weeks of that employment with Transpower. I did a
Yeah.
6 week readiness to work program with Talent International, and so Talent International, they're a global technology and digital recruitment agency, and they run a non-for-profit readiness to work program for young people who are NEET. So NEET is not an employment, education. Um, not an employment, educational training,
Mm-hmm.
aged 18 to 24. And so I go back as an alumni motivational speaker, and I share my experience with each cohort just to assist the program um, drive like to attack the unemployment rates,
Mm-hmm.
um, but also to motivate our Maori and Pasifika young people to come forward and take up these exciting roles and to challenge themselves. And so, because of my participation with that, I've been really lucky to be able to refer a few Tokelau young people who have gone through the
Really?
program. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Good job.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so that was really good. Like I think that that's one thing that I'm really proud of, and I will definitely continue to go back and be an advocate for this readiness to work program and share my story, and yeah, just be an advocate for young Maori Pasifika IT um
Oh,
people.
shout out to Talent International. We got to
Yeah,
be
yeah, they're
mate.
so
Yeah, because man, it's like they really picked up on your skills, and you've been able to develop. I mean, you're a really great speaker, by the way. Like you're so professional, so calm. There's no, yeah, a lot of adults um, don't have that. So
mm,
shout out to you, honestly. So what they've done is they've really developed that skill. Well, help you developing that skill. Um, the journey that you took, I know that it would have, you stand out like a sore thumb just being, brown and a girl in a male dominant industry.
yeah.
How how has your journey in IT helped with you personally as a young Pacifica woman? You're both Palau and Samoan,
Yeah.
or in any other way. How's it helped with you personally, your confidence and all that kind of stuff?
Oh my god, I think it honestly has just made me look at life through a different lens. Like it's like it's pushed me to look further and for us to not cut ourselves so short.
Yeah,
I was like an average student in school. I wasn't like, I
yeah,
didn't have any plans to go to uni. Um, and so I just think that this experience is, yeah, it's I think like living evidence that we can make it, and if and that yeah, if uni isn't an option for you, there's so many opportunities out there.
yeah,
The IT industry is so broad, and there's so many areas, and there's just many options. once you get your foot in the door, you will learn, you'll develop, and you'll see the bigger picture, which is what I feel I've seen.
Yeah.
Um, and with my experience, I think I'm really lucky to have that IT experience, because should I ever want to go back to that industry specifically, I won't go in so blind. I would have had some exposure, and I guess in terms of like my confidence as a Tokelau and a Pasifika woman, I guess I've gotten so used to being in a boardroom and being the only Pasifika person and being quiet. But I think now, with all this experience and being so used to it, I've got enough knowledge to not be the quiet one in the room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can resonate, but
Yeah.
you've been exposed to it very young, which is
Mm.
very, very rare. That's what I mean. Like this is like I'm in total awe, honestly. And Haloa, like all we want to do is empower our, the woman out there. Okay, let's talk about your aspirations in terms of the tech industry. What do you have, or what do you hope for in the tech sector, or have you thought about this kind of thing?
Um, yeah, I have. I think that I just would love to see the technology sector continue to make these spaces
Yeah,
for our people,
yeah,
continue to target our people. You know, our people are so shy, like,
yeah.
um, and I
I
think that's why
know.
a lot of us don't know who else is in the industry.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
so, you know, and I think like, if I think like, oh my god, if I think like beyond like my absolute dreams, it would be so good to see the Pulanga Tokelau back home come and do apprenticeships in
Mm,
IT trades, not even just in IT, but like, you know, there's so many, like a building trade, like
mm,
um, that I just know that that would be such a big and a game changer for our young ones back home.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's because I think the lifestyle back home is so hands on, and with,
Mm,
you know, with my experience of doing an apprenticeship, you're not just learning, but you're actually doing it, and um, and when you come out of the job, you don't only have the knowledge, but you have the experience.
yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I can just see that being a really, really big thing for our people, for our young people back home. And so, yeah, I think that's what I hope for the tech sector. Just so if this week, just any industries, any organizations, keep making those spaces.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's
100. Yeah, I totally
yeah,
agree. They're hardworking too. You know,
yeah,
people on the islands are hardworking. And yeah, so I totally agree. So last question. Yeah. I want to know, what's your one piece of advice that you'd like to give someone that's just starting in IT?
I would say just you just have to start somewhere. Like, you know, it doesn't matter where you start. And you know, I know that we spoke about before about IT opening so many opportunities, but also if you just take any opportunity in life that comes, you could also land in IT. So it goes both ways. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's just, if you are keen to join the you know, technology space, it's so big. And yeah, I've
Mm,
landed in property, which you wouldn't actually expect starting in IT. So I would just say, like, just start. And if you're going to start, it doesn't matter where you start, just start anywhere. Yeah.
yeah, 100%, because it is
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
And yeah, oh my gosh, there's so much more that I could talk to you about in terms of, but I am so proud of you. Honestly, you're a rare, rare, rare gem, honestly, in this industry. But I wonder if it makes me wonder if there's others like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But what I hope for after, meeting you and having you talk about your journey and share your story, there'll be others that might
Yeah.
want to take that on board.
Yeah.
Go and do your is it CompTIA Plus? Yeah, CompTIA
Yeah.
IL Plus
Yeah.
certification, or I might actually get people to come and approach you. Actually, yeah, I might do that. Come in. You're a great role model, Lila, and like you see that you've done some motivational speaking as well, and you've helped others through the Talent International recruitment, which is another plug for them. Big shout out for them. But you've inspired me. I'm not gonna lie, you have inspired me. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you, honestly, Lila. So, um, I guess like we will have to keep in. I really would like to see how you progress and see, where you go in your space.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so grateful. So many people will resonate. I know that. So thank you so much for your
No,
sharing.
thank you. Thank you
This
so much
time.
for having me. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you're
100%
welcome.
supportive of this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna share her contact details for anyone that's ever interested in getting more information around Lila's background and any advice. Lila has put her hand up to help out in providing some content or some help anyway. Hey Lila, so
Yeah,
Malo, honestly, I'm so proud of you and your families, your dad again, and your mum be so proud.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah. Thank
congratulations.
you.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.